Here is my story. Please watch this to the end and share my story to the world. 15-year-old Tola stepped out of her family's shack into the pale gold light of dawn. Her bare feet landed on the uneven plank walkway, its wood warped from years of sun and rain. She wore a faded yellow dress that hung loosely on her small frame, its hemline torn from catching on a nail weeks ago. She had tried to fix it by tying a little knot at the side, but the fabric was too worn to hold properly. In her right hand she clutched her most prized possession, a flattened cereal carton. On the plain brown back she had copied letters in pencil the night before, tracing them over and over until the paper was soft and almost peeling. The letters were uneven, some too big, some tilted, but they were hers. She carried the carton everywhere. Tola had never stepped inside a classroom, not even once. Her father had died in a construction accident when she was 5, falling from the scaffolding of a half-built office tower in Victoria Island. She barely remembered his face, just the smell of cement dust on his clothes and the way he used to carry her on his shoulders through the market. His death was quick, and the struggle that followed was slow. Her mother, Mama Tola, had been left with nothing but debts and a daughter too young to understand why grown-ups cried quietly at night. She tried everything, frying plantains, selling vegetables, sometimes washing clothes for richer families across town. But no matter how hard she worked, the little money they earned vanished into food, rent, and the occasional hospital bill when the lagoon's mosquitoes made someone sick. School was never part of the equation. It wasn't that Mama Tola didn't want it. She dreamed of it. But uniforms, books, and fees belonged to another world. Tola learned anyway. Her classroom was the street. When she sold plantains at the bus stop, she'd stand near people reading newspapers and pretend to be watching the road while her ears caught every syllable. She learned the alphabet from a cracked poster advertising a mobile network. Numbers came from counting her mother's plantain slices and giving change to customers. She memorized English words from billboards along the Third Mainland Bridge, sounding them out in whispers until they stuck in her mind. That morning, the smell of frying plantains drifted out from their shack. Inside, Mama Tola was bent over the charcoal stove, flipping golden slices in a shallow pan, her wrapper tied tight around her waist. Her forehead glistened with sweat, but her movements were quick and sure. Mama Tola. Tola, carry this cooler, go sell before suns start to bite. And make sure you pass that bridge side. Those people get money. Them they buy quick. Tola slipped the cereal carton into the pocket of her dress and stepped inside. Yes, Mama. She helped wrap the plantains in paper and stacked them inside the small blue cooler. Mama Tola poured a splash of pepper sauce into a jar and handed it to her daughter. Mama Tola. If person ask, add small, no waste. Tola nodded, then tied a scarf around her head, balancing the cooler carefully on top. The wooden walkway creaked under her weight as she left. Her toes curled around the edges of each plank. She knew exactly which ones sagged, which ones had nails sticking out, and which ones were steady. By the time she reached the main road, the air had changed. The smell of the lagoon faded into dust and exhaust fumes. Danfo buses rattled past, their conductors hanging out of the doors, shouting destinations. Street hawkers called out prices for boiled ground nuts, roasted corn, and phone chargers. Ikoyi wasn't far from here, but it was another planet. One street could change everything. The cracked pavements gave way to smooth tar, the noise softened, and the air smelled faintly of cut grass instead of smoke. High walls rose on both sides, crowned with coils of security wire. Behind those walls were houses so big they looked like small hotels. Tola always felt two things when she walked here: a kind of awe at the beauty of it, and a quiet ache that she tried not to name. This was a place where children her age wore ironed uniforms, carried shiny backpacks, and were driven to school in air-conditioned SUVs. She had never spoken to any of them. But today, something different waited under the shade of a mango tree behind one of those high walls. The mango tree's shade was thick and cool, a small escape from the Lagos heat. Tola had been walking past the compound, balancing her cooler of plantains, when she spotted the girl sitting there. The first thing she noticed wasn't the expensive uniform or the polished shoes. It was the expression on the girl's face. She looked stuck. Her pencil hovered above her notebook like it had been frozen there for a long time. Tola slowed her steps. Her mother always told her, "No, they put I for rich people, wahala," but the way the girl's eyebrows drew together, lips pressed tight, made her curious. Tola. Pure water. Her tone was soft, careful. The girl looked up. She was maybe 15 or 16, with smooth skin and a gold bracelet that clinked softly when she moved. Her eyes, bright but shadowed with frustration, flicked to the cooler on Tola's head and then back to her notebook. Girl. No thanks. Tola nodded and shifted to leave, but then the girl muttered under her breath, almost like she was talking to herself. Girl. I don't even get it. Tola stopped mid-step. You fine? The girl sighed, letting the pencil drop onto her lap. It's homework. Math, I've been staring at it for half an hour and it's just useless. My tutor will be here later and he'll just get angry like last time. Tola's head tilted. Math no too hard, if person explain him well. The girl blinked at her. You? Do you even go to school? Tola hesitated for a heartbeat but answered honestly. Number but I dey learn small on my own. The girl's expression softened slightly, though there was still a trace of doubt. So you think you can solve this? Tola smiled, a little shy, a little proud. Show me. The problem was 924 divided by 22. Tola shifted the cooler off her head and set it carefully on the grass. She crouched beside the notebook, tracing the numbers with her finger. Tola. Okay. 22. Go enter 92 4 times. That's 88. Remainder 4. Bring down the 4. 22. Go enter 44. 2 times exactly. Answer 42. The girl's eyes widened. You didn't even write it down. Tola tapped the side of her head. I write him here. A small laugh escaped the girl, almost in surprise. I'm Anita. Tola, she replied. Anita moved her books to the side, patting the grass beside her. Sit down. Tola hesitated, glancing toward the gate where a uniformed security guard leaned casually against the wall. He didn't seem bothered, so she sat, tucking her legs under her. The grass felt strange under her fingers, soft, almost too clean. She plucked a few small mango leaves and placed them in front of them, then picked up some tiny stones from the dirt. Tola. See, numbers, they like market goods. If you no fit carry all at once, you divide them. Watch. If you get 8 stones here and share them for 2 baskets, how many each? Anita leaned forward. 4. Good. Now if you get 13 stones. They worked through examples, moving from easy to tricky ones. Tola's way of explaining was different. Patient, simple, almost playful. She spoke half in English, half in Yoruba, using examples Anita understood. Every time Anita got an answer right, Tola asked her the same thing. Why? She didn't just want the number, she wanted Anita to explain the steps. It was a rhythm. Problem, pause, answer. Why? Anita, who was used to being talked down to by her tutor, felt her confidence growing with each question. You make it sound easy, she admitted. Tola grinned. Because ide easy, once you see am well. The cooler of plantains sat forgotten beside them. The sun shifted slowly across the compound, the shade under the mango tree stretching further. The security guard at the gate watched with mild curiosity but said nothing. Anita flipped the page of her notebook. Can you teach fractions? Tola chuckled. I fit try. She arranged the stones in a neat circle. If this be all your meat pie and you cut em into 4 pieces, how many pieces be half? Anita pointed. 2. Good. Now what be 1/4? 1 piece, Anita said confidently. They laughed together, and for a moment it didn't matter that one girl wore polished shoes and the other's toes were dusty. For a moment, they were just 2 girls who wanted to understand the world in numbers and words. Neither of them noticed the tall figure walking across the grass until his shadow covered them both. Tola froze. Anita's smile faded. Voice. Anita. It was deep, calm, and carried the kind of authority that didn't need to be raised. The shadow was sharp and long, stretching across the grass like a curtain cutting off the sunlight. Anita's smile fell away. She straightened, shutting her notebook instinctively, as if that might hide whatever she'd been doing. Tola's first thought was to stand. Her bare feet suddenly felt too visible against the perfect green grass. Her fingers brushed over the dusty hem of her dress, trying to smooth it down. The man standing there was tall, his posture effortless but commanding. He wore a crisp white shirt, tucked neatly into dark trousers, the kind that looked expensive without trying. On his left wrist, a slim silver watch caught the afternoon sun. 2 men in suits stood a few paces behind him, silent, observant, while the uniformed security guard at the gate had straightened up, suddenly more alert. His eyes moved from Anita to Tola slowly, not in a rude way, but in a way that made Tola feel like she was being read line by line. Man. Anita. The voice was calm, but it carried a weight that made even the leaves seem quieter. Anita got to her feet quickly. Daddy. He didn't raise his voice, didn't step forward, just asked evenly. Man. Who is this? Tola opened her mouth to answer, but Anita spoke first. This is Tola. She was helping me. Man. Helping you? His gaze flicked to the notebook on the ground, then to the scattered leaves and stones between them. With what? Anita hesitated, glancing at Tola before she said, Math. She explained it better than Mr. Alfred, one eyebrow lifted slightly. Better than your tutor? Daddy, I actually solved 3 problems correctly without guessing, Anita blurted. She made it make sense. The man's eyes settled on Tola again. What's your name? Tola. Tola, sir. Do you go to school, Tola? Her throat felt tight. She didn't want to sound pitiful, but she couldn't lie. Tola. No, sir. His gaze stayed steady. Why not? Tola. No money for fees. My father's gone. My mother sells food. We manage. Something unreadable passed over his face. Not pity exactly, but thought. He bent slightly, picking up the notebook. The pages were smudged, but the last sums were neat. He studied the margin where small notes had been written in a slanted hand, corrections and hints drawn with arrows. He lowered the notebook, then glanced at Anita. And you understood all this? Yes, Anita said quickly. She made it easy, like fun. From the porch, footsteps approached. A man in a perfectly pressed shirt and tie, Mr. Alfred, the tutor, appeared, carrying a leather folder. His polite smile tightened when he saw Tola. "Ah," Mr. Alfred said lightly, "I see we have a visitor." Anita's father, now unmistakably Mr. Adeyemi, didn't look away from Tola. "Mr. Adeyemi, Anita says she explains better than you, Alfred." The tutor's jaw twitched. "Sir, I'm sure she means in a casual way, but we have a structured curriculum, allowing—" His eyes flicked to Tola. "Untrained outsiders to teach her may confuse things." Anita crossed her arms. "It's not confusing. It's the first time I actually understand it." Mr. Adeyemi's mouth curved slightly at one corner. "Tola, explain one of these problems to me. Show me how you taught her." Tola hesitated, but Anita quickly flipped open the notebook and pointed to a long division problem. Tola crouched, picking up a few stones. "Okay, this number be like your whole market goods. If you want share am, you go break am into parts. First, see how many times this number go fit enter the bigger one without pass am." She went step by step, speaking slowly but clearly. Anita's eyes stayed on her, nodding at each part. By the end, the answer matched exactly. Mr. Adeyemi looked down at the notebook, then at Anita. "And you can do this on your own now?"